Richard.
Hey, are you still in New York? And in the fall with no sleeves? Good grief.
Yeah, man. It's like that here, man. It's so beautiful. You just want to let all the senses take it all in. And so feeling the breeze on my arms is a beautiful thing. So I thought today's show would be titled, If It's Not Working, Consider It's Because You're Not Working It.
Oh, well, now it sounds like you're talking about fitness.
It could be fitness. It could be anything, man. It could be the practice.
That's what I was thinking. That applies to pretty much every area of your life. The intention is so key, isn't it? What we intend is really the ball game. I think someone wants to find the essence of communication to be intention. Now think about that for a minute. The essence of communication is intention. So the idea that you want to put something across is paramount. The idea that you want to communicate it in an effective way is paramount. So the key is effectiveness, and the effectiveness comes about by working a plan. It's
Right.
not by simply letting circumstance take you down the stream. Now, that's not an argument for being frenetic and throwing your hands up and running around like a chicken. It's dedicated energy along the lines of excellence.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, when I think of the title, I think about my life, where a lot of things that I tried or said no to initially, and if I did try it, I didn't put my full weight behind it. And what I mean by my weight, I didn't really put my whole zest and zeal behind it and really take it on. And I think about just nature, and being out until you really introduced it to me after I had begun to do the practice. I'm like, I don't get this outside stuff and nature. When I go outside, it's to do something like really vigorous with activity, but to just be out and to appreciate nature, I don't get it. Well, of course you didn't get it. You came into it with a negative attitude, or when people have introduced me to meditation and yoga, it's not working. Oh, you're not working it.
Yes.
You come into it with a negative attitude, and I think about that with a lot of things. I've had a few people say things like you can take something and have people have completely two different experiences with it. People that are fully into it and they reap the benefits of it. And then people that say it's not working, but have they really executed it as it's designed with their full, intention. And a lot of times in my case, I hadn't. I'll give you a couple examples. One example that comes to mind is, at previous, when I was much younger and I was in the Marine Corps and serving, there was opportunities to be really engaged with the task that we were doing at the time. Whether we were out doing a field operation, doing training or something like that. And I would immediately come in with a negative attitude because I didn't want to do it in the beginning. I thought it was an onerous task. And with that, I say, this doesn't work. When I didn't even really give it an opportunity to work. I didn't really do it that way. I heard people, talk about how broken the country is. And I look at it because I guess because of my practice, and I see what's working well with the country. I see people being kind to each other. They're loving each other. I see healthcare workers making incredible sacrifices. I see teachers doing monumental work to educate our kids. I see neighbors looking out for each other. I see a lot that's working. When I look at these documents that the forefathers of the country, composed, in a lot of ways, I can see where people mean that we've fallen short. But how do I, as an American, do my part to realize that? Let me tell you how I do it. By not complaining, but every day I'm kind to my neighbor. And even if we disagree politically, I still see the humanity in them. And I continue to be a great neighbor, extending kindness, compassion, being of service to people I don't know. That's how I fully live into the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. Is that's my role. We have a few people, at work that may be, disgruntled. So when you come to the workplace, are you bringing a problem and a complaint, or are you contributing your energy, your positive energy to the situation. We have people, man, that do an incredible job of trying to keep people engaged. Like, hey, let's do this Halloween thing, or let's do this potluck. And I used to be the guy sitting on the sides like, I'm not doing a potluck. I'm not doing this. This is crazy. And I'm like, but here I am complaining, but doing nothing to help create a sense of community. It's because I'm not working it. So, I mean, the values that an organization have, they're not just something on the wall that magically come alive. You bring them alive with the way that you walk into the space every day, not bringing a problem, but bringing a solution. And the best solution you can bring is a positive attitude, a kind heart, and a servant's and a servant's what's the word I'm looking for? And a servant's or childlike curiosity or willingness to help and pitch in. That's the difference that you can make in any kind of situation you come into. My thing has become with every situation that I say yes to, I'm all in. I will not complain. If I say yes to it, I will not complain no matter what.
Yeah.
But I'm going to really, really try it on. So that's what I think I mean by, the title, if it's not working, consider you're not working it.
Yeah, and maybe that's a good argument for people not to get engaged in things that maybe aren't appealing to them. Instead of saying, I have to do this, maybe you could avoid doing it because if you get in it with a negative attitude, you're likely to taint the other people who are involved and create a problem that's even bigger than just you complaining. I think one of the things that we all would like to have is more time. We all want more money. We all want more security. We all want an easier life. One of the ways of doing that, I think, is to select what the things are that you want to spend your time on. I think often we get more frustrated when we have so many things to do and we can't do them all well because there's only so many hours in the day. So maybe one of the strategies might be for people who are feeling overwhelmed and not able to give their all is to say no more. Say no more. It's the idea that you don't want to get overextended. And when you are overextended, you're not giving yourself an opportunity to succeed. And you're also creating an issue for other people who may be involved. Well, how can I avoid, doing this? Mrs. Johnson did 2 sessions of this and I haven't done any. Well, that's her situation. You have to be true to your own heart. Very difficult to say no, especially if you're a kind and loving and giving person, as I'm sure most of the people you know are. The difficulty is saying no and sticking to it because you can't spread yourself too thin. And I think once you're used to selecting things that have meaning for you, then it's easier, or a little easier anyway, to get more involved and extremely devoted to what it is that you're doing, which is what you want to do in the first place. Very important to make sure you're doing exactly what you want to do. Otherwise, the world's going to eat you up.
Yeah, I like that, Rick. I've become very selective in what I say yes to and no. And what I've really become aware of is who's saying no. Is it the no part of me that doesn't want to grow?
Oh, yeah.
Then I don't listen to that because I used to have this predisposition before the practice. No matter what you invited me to do, the answer was no. I mean, you invited me on a many hikes and a many trips to Sedona, and I said no, and I missed out on it, on those opportunities. I've had people like introduce me to ways that could, and methods and opportunities that would really invite peacefulness into my life when they saw me suffering. And I said no to that. So I have to be really careful. And this is what the practice helps you with. It helps you distinguish who's saying no. Like my ego is completely disinterested in any kind of growth. It wants to make enemies of life. It wants to make enemies of people that think differently than me. Yeah. I mean, it's all about erecting walls and shutting everything out. It thinks it's protecting me, but really it's closing me off.
That's right.
So I'm going to say yes to things that open me up, all the time. Now I may say I'm going to try this on for a month and see if that's going to resonate with me. But I'm more inclined to say yes to that, and I'll say no to things that I think that I've really slept on it. I've thought about it seriously, And then I will, make a conscious choice more times than not on what that's going to be. But I think having a healthy practice in place that keeps you aware of who's saying no. I mean, I know a lot of parents out there who I've talked to over the years who said no to a lot of things that involve, doing things with their children. And for several reasons. I've got to work more. I've got to take care of this. There's so much on my plate. And taking that 5 minutes to sit down and get on your hands and knees and get into coloring with them, that's something you can say yes to and be fully into it. So I think that being really selective and conscious of the choices, I think, are really important, what's in front of you. But I think whatever you say yes to, really work it. I mean, really give it a chance. And if there is a consideration that you have about it or concern, ask the question in a different way. Instead of saying, I don't like this, say, hey, listen, here is something that I'm challenged with. Is there something that I'm missing about this? Am I not executing it in a way that would help me reap the benefits that this program or this opportunity offers? What am I missing? And what I've learned when I've asked those questions, people have said, oh, yes, Keith, this offers something different, but perhaps this is the position that you're taking before you said yes. You were expecting to get this out of it. No. That's not what this is geared to deliver for you. This is geared to deliver this instead. So you were looking for financial gain. No, what you're gaining here is experience that's going to help you with the next part of your professional journey or the next part of your spiritual growth. This is a completely different situation. And my mom clearly saw that when she made us volunteer as children. She didn't give us choices back then because I would have absolutely said no to that. And she was like, no, we're doing this. And after a while, I got fully into it, and that served me well the rest of my life. So I just ask everyone to consider that if it's not working, are you really working it? Like if it requires you to do something once a month, are you doing it once a month? If it's suggested that you do it every day, are you doing it every day in earnest or not? If you're not, you can't say it's working. Don't complain to me about the country isn't working when you aren't treating your neighbors equally, treating everyone in an equal way, in a loving way, and being kind to everybody. Don't complain to me that your job isn't working when you're not bringing a positive attitude that helps your coworkers. Don't complain to me about that. Instead, ask those questions. Am I doing all that I can to make this situation better? And then if you've done all of that and it's not working, then we can have a conversation.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I'd also caution people in the same vein not to take on too much. So Absolutely. If you're all in, that means that energy has to go somewhere. And that means that that's going to be a draw on your energy. And if you don't have that, you can't be all in because you don't have the energy. And I'd also ask people to look inside their hearts and see why they're taking on new things. For a long time, I took on everything that I could possibly take on because I wanted to impress other people. I wanted to look good. I wanted to be thought of as the good guy who can do anything. He's the guy that is the most efficient and superior of all of us. That kind of attitude. That's a terrible place to say yes from. So I think this idea of being all in requires us to have some sense of priority about what is important in our lives and how we can contribute. And then also to make sure that when we think that we can't do any more, that we're honest with ourselves and others. And frankly, I'm at the age now where I don't give a reason. And I don't think anybody's obligated to. Do you want to do X, Y, and Z? No, thanks. I don't think that'll work for me. Or I don't have an opportunity right now to present my best self doing it. Or nothing. Nope, can't do it. Smile. But people don't do that. People are often interested in trying to do more for the sake of showing to other people that they're effective or kind or loving or fill in the blank, whatever they want other people to think of them. That's the wrong reason to do anything.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rick. And I think it comes back to, the things that are going to help me show up as my best self. Am I going to be a more effective, friend? Am I going to be a more effective neighbor? Will I be a more loving and contributing coworker and colleague? Will I be a better parent? And if it's going to help me in those areas, I'm really open to learning whatever this is that can help me in that way. So for me, if I say yes to it, I'm going to work it. I'm going to work it with all of me. So Rick, man, thank you for a great show. Thank you for sharing your insights, man. I love you.
I love you, Keith. See you next time.
See you next time.